All right, we're going to get started. Welcome to Disaster Preparedness Class number 3. I'm Ann Forrest. My email is on the screen, seattleprepares@gmail.com, and I am delighted you're here. We're going to talk about utilities. Always remember, when the earth shakes, pipes break. All of them, water, gas, and sewer pipes. We're going to talk about gas and electricity tonight. Your priority list after an earthquake should look like this. Check on people and pets around you. Manage your utilities. We've talked about water. We're going to talk about natural gas tonight and also electricity. Fires are super common after earthquakes. It is just a known phenomenon, and everybody prepares. And actually, the fire department is the one that takes the lead immediately after an earthquake because their needs are so big, and everybody knows they're going to have lots of needs, and they're going to need a lot of support. Fires are very common after earthquakes, and that's because of natural gas leaks. Those pipes running under the ground, especially if they're running across areas of the city that are prone to liquefaction. The soil is really moist and it kind of turns into quicksand during the shaking. And then when the earth stops shaking, it turns back into solid ground. And so pipes in that dirt break. It's really hard for a pipe to withstand that kind of shaking. Natural gas leaks, lots of fires. Again, the fire departments coordinate the immediate response after an earthquake. At least that's how it's done here in the States and definitely in Seattle. So we all need to control our utilities. Nobody wants their house or anyone to get injured in a fire. So definitely need to keep control of our utilities. I'm going to play this video. This video is linked on your to-do list so you can show other people. And this is done by the city. I think it's a really good video.
It is vital that all household members know how to shut off natural gas. Start by finding your gas meter. If you have natural gas service, a meter like this one will be located somewhere outside, along the perimeter of your house or apartment building. Next, make sure everyone knows when to turn off the natural gas. You only want to shut off the natural gas if you have some reason to believe there is a leak. Either 1, you smell natural gas, which is a sulfur or rotten egg-like odor, or 2, you hear natural gas leaking, which will be a hissing sound. If you do believe that there is a gas leak, locate a wrench, which you will need to shut the gas off. Make sure everyone knows where to find the wrench in your home so they can quickly access it. You could even keep the wrench outside, located with the gas meter. Make sure you regularly clear debris and bushes to make sure that you have an easy path to your gas meter. Locate the shutoff valve. The shutoff valve looks like this. When the gas is on, the valve is parallel to the pipe. To turn the gas off, place the wrench around the shutoff valve and turn the valve 90 degrees until it is running crosswise to the pipe. You can turn the valve either way, just as long as you stop when it is running perpendicular to the pipe. If you have turned off your gas, for your safety, do not turn it back on yourself. Contact your gas company to do so.
Super simple video. Shut off your gas if and only if you smell gas, that's it, sulfur or rotten egg smell, or you hear it hissing. These are tools. You can put it near the gas meter or at least somewhere where you know you can get to it on your way to the gas meter so that you're not having to scramble around looking for a tool in the middle of all this. Don't turn the gas back on once you've turned it off. The gas company needs to come out and fix the leak or make sure there's no leaks before they turn it back on. Seismic gas shutoff valve. This red box right here is in between the gas meter and your house. It is installed after the fact, after your gas is all set up. It's not done by the city of Seattle. You do have to pay a private company to do it, but I'll show you a video and it'll explain how these things work.
But if the piping contains something flammable, like natural gas, and it breaks, it then feeds the fire that follows the earthquake. That's where the seismic gas shutoff valve comes in. In principle, it's pretty simple. The ground shakes, the valve shuts. Let's take a look at the valve I have here today. It's got windows, and we can see inside that there's a steel ball under the red cap sitting on a seat that's holding the valve in the open position. In an earthquake, that ball would be dislodged and the valve would shut, like that. Now, to reset the valve is quite simple. Just takes a screwdriver. We're back in the open position. Gas is flowing. One of the historic concerns has been nuisance operation. that if you had a press in your building, if you had train tracks beside your building, that the normal vibrations might activate it. I'm going to simulate those normal vibrations by just gently tapping, and you can see the valve's not operating. But then when an earthquake comes, the intensity gets greater and the valve operates. Now, in our situation, the gas is flowing from your left to your right, and it's actually helping to hold that disc on the seat. If the valve were installed backwards, that gas pressure would push on the seat, could leak past and enter the building. That's it. Seismic gas shutoff valve. Very effective piece of equipment on any piping going into any building with natural gas.
Seismic gas shutoff valves, they kick in when there's either a 4 or 5 magnitude earthquake. They're really good if you're away from the house because they can shut off the gas for you. And then you can get home. If the earthquake wasn't strong enough to damage the pipes, then you have the ability to turn your gas back on. You saw him do that in the video where he just used a screwdriver to turn the gas back on and get it flowing back to your house. So it's a really nice safeguard for if you're away from home. If you can swing it financially, I would certainly encourage it. It might keep your house from burning down. I think they're about $500 installed. Everybody's a little bit different, but that's how you handle gas. We'll talk about electricity. You're only going to turn off the electricity after an earthquake if you see sparks or broken or frayed wires. And you're going to turn it off the main fuse box or the electric panel. And also turn it off if you smell insulation burning. And I think that's kind of a plasticky kind of smell. So only mess with your electricity if you need to. And make sure if there's any kind of water standing around your fuse box, do not go near it. Don't step in water to get to that fuse box. You're putting yourself at risk. So we're going to talk about sanitation. This is such a huge topic. Nobody likes talking about it because it's yucky, but man, it's so important. When the earth shakes, pipes break. And this is going to include pipes in the ground, whether it's bringing water to your house or allowing you to get rid of the sewage away from your house. You've turned off the water to your house in order to keep all the water in your pipes clean and drinkable. And you don't want to pull any gunky water in, and you don't want to let all your water run out of your house. So if you have no running water to your house, you have no flushing toilets. Sanitation failure is immediate because those pipes are going to break as soon as the earthquake hits, and they are long-term. Again, those pipes are underground. It's going to take forever to get them fixed. This will be one of the yuckiest parts of recovery after an earthquake is this long-term fix for sanitation problems. I mean, it will take months to years to get all of those pipes in the ground fixed. A, it's hard to get to them. B, everybody's going to want that pipe because if you're going to put pipe back in, if you're pulling out broken pipe and you're going to put down new pipe, you want pipe that's really resilient. They have pipes that are meant to withstand earthquakes. So everybody wanting to put down new pipe is all going to want to put down the good long-term resilient pipe. So it's going to be really hard to get. That's my point. Months to years to get the sanitation system fixed. So this is the guidance from the city. They want you to double bag your waste, 2 plastic bags. They want you to store it safely outside in a designated bin. And that can be your regular trash can. It can be your recycle bin. It can be your compost bin. It can be some other large container you have that sits outside. But they want it to have only human waste in it, nothing else. Don't mix it with other trash. Mark it as human waste. Make sure it's outside and make sure that it's covered and safe and no rats are going to get into it because that just helps spread disease. They will pick it up eventually. That's the plan. That's the guidance from the city. The limits for this system is that we produce quite a bit of human waste. So it's space to store all this because it'll be weeks before they can get some kind of a trash truck around to pick up human waste. And it will be a separate run as compared to picking up regular trash or compost or recycling. So it will be a separate run of trucks. Space is going to be a real big issue, especially if you're living in a really densely populated area. And then plastic bags. A lot of us are going to run out of plastic bags. This is an option. This happens to be a toilet in my house. You can line your toilet with plastic bags. So just use your own toilet, sit down, pee and poo in the same bag. Bag it up when you're done, take it outside, store it in a bin outside that you can keep safe and keep kids and rodents out of it. So that's an option. The smell of human waste really comes from when these two products are mixed. It really gets nasty at that point. So another option you have is to do something that's called a twin bucket toilet. And this has been developed and it's been road tested in multiple places, especially after disasters, and it works really well. The twin bucket toilet is really good because you use two different buckets and you separate the pee and the poo. This video that's available to you on YouTube.
So just like the name, twin buckets. If your household is coordinated enough to split up these two products, then you're in good shape. And the value of splitting them up is you can decrease the amount you have to store. Because again, this is a long-term problem. You're going to have to store the byproducts of our human bodies for a long time. So let's talk about urine. This one's the simple one. Urine is mostly water and mostly sterile. What you can do is pee in the bucket and throw it outside. Men, you can just go outside and pee on the ground. But if you'd like to sit down, this is how you do it. This is a pool noodle or pipe installation, works really well. A long noodle, you're going to cut it in half and you're going to make sure that there's a slit down the length side, just one side of it. This goes around the lip of the bucket and it cushions it so that you're not sitting on the lip of a bucket. So this is your urine bucket, your pee bucket. It is good to go just like it is. So you sit down, you do your business, you pee into here. The toilet paper goes into the poo bucket. So we'll talk about that in a second. If you have any water that you're not planning on drinking, like it's coming out of a pool or a hot tub or something like that, you know that you cannot get it clean enough to drink, then add some water to this, swish it around and throw it out on the ground. This will not hurt anything. So that's how you handle pee. This is the stuff we really are concerned about after big disasters. This is what makes people sick. This is where the pathogens are. So we are really, really concerned about containing this and keeping people healthy after a large disaster. So let's talk about how to do that. Again, pool noodle. You're going to cushion the rim. And for this one, we're going to put two bags over it. These are two plastic bags, just regular 13-gallon trash bags, kitchen trash bags. A 13-gallon bag fits really well inside a 5-gallon bucket. So I have two of them. I'm going to put it over the pool noodle just to make sure that stays nice and clean. And then I'm ready to go. So family members are going to sit down. They're going to use this poo bucket. They're going to sanitize their hands afterwards because we want everybody to stay nice and healthy. After every time you use these two plastic bags, you're going to put something on top. And this isn't something you need to store. You don't need to buy this stuff. You'll be able to figure out what you can use after a disaster. So some examples are kitty litter, sand, ashes, dirt, flour, a cake mix you're never going to make, baking soda, dry laundry detergent, anything like that. Just sprinkle it over the top. The reason for that is you're trying to dry out the poo and you're trying to keep down the smell. So there's nothing fancy about it. You're just trying to help the system be a little less icky. So family member sits down, does their business, sprinkles a little bit over the top, and you can use these two bags for a while, whether it's 1 day or 3 days, depending on the size of your family. You can use these two bags for a while so you won't run out, which is a really good part. So once you think this is full enough, and that's about halfway, you want to take both bags out. You're going to squeeze out all the air because, again, this system is really good because it reduces the amount that you have to store. So squeeze out all the air, tie it off, and you're going to put it outside. You're going to put it out in a compost bin, a recycle bin, your regular trash can, whatever you have where you can keep it safe from kids and rodents. So the goal is to put this outside and the city will pick it up eventually. That is the guidance to us. They will pick it up eventually. So the other things I have in the twin bucket toilet besides hand sanitizer and those plastic bags, disinfecting wipes. You want to keep this whole system really clean and keep your family healthy. Disposable gloves are a nice idea. toilet paper, maybe some feminine hygiene products if you want to store those in here. Another option is to buy a toilet seat cover. These can be found in camping stores. This is meant to fit on a 5-gallon bucket, so it works really well. One of the difficult things I think is that once you snap it onto one of these buckets, it's a little difficult to get off. So you need some decent hand strength, and it might rip the plastic bags, but things like this are available if you're interested. So that's the end of the twin bucket toilet demonstration.
Here's some ways you can sit down and do your business other than your own toilet or a 5-gallon bucket.
Class next week, it'll be class number 4. We'll be talking about communicating after an earthquake and the early earthquake warning system. I'll have some updates about what just happened last week. I think it was the day of class. The Shake Alert app came out. I honestly haven't had a chance to play with it, but I'll go over that with you guys, and so you can get that. Make sure you have that on your phones if you have a smartphone. I believe that's it. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to look at chat because I saw a few comments in there. Somebody asked about replacing the pipes. The city is doing it, but only when they need to pull up pipes to put new pipes down. So they're not proactively doing it. It's just too expensive. But when they do have to put new pipe in, they're putting in good resilient pipe. That's my understanding. How will people be notified if pipes are in fact unharmed and water can be turned back on? My guess is that Alert Seattle would be doing that kind of information. And that's why signing up for Alert Seattle is so important, because if the city has the ability to communicate at all with us, that's how they're going to do it, is through Alert Seattle. And they will say things like, hey, we're not sure about the water system. Make sure you boil the water for 1 minute before you use it. That's where that kind of information will come from. I doubt they would be able to say to the city as a whole, oh, nobody has to worry about pipes being broken. Go ahead and turn your gas back on, or anything like that. So I think it's more of you need to talk to neighbors. You need to kind of assess the situation. If you're really spooked, don't turn it back on yourself. Start calling, Seattle Public Utilities and see what their plan is. And yeah, actually reaching out directly to Seattle Public Utilities is a really smart idea, to go, hey, this is where I live. My seismic gas shutoff valve kicked in when I was gone. Can I turn my gas back on? What do you think? And they will be able to give you the best guidance, is the actual utility company. One thing I was thinking about was especially if you're in an apartment building, if you can find a swale near your building, I would designate that as the place you want all of your residents to dump their pee, instead of just random spots. It's just, that's kind of what those are for. The swales, where all the water, the runoff water, is supposed to collect so it has a chance to seep into the ground. Think about that. Swales are a real good spot to dump that urine. It'll just give it some time to soak in instead of running off into the bodies of water we have around here. Okay, any other questions? Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ed.